Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and hit a like on the video as well. I'd be extremely grateful. Apologies, I am 1 minute overdue. I apologize. Smithy, shock. I'm 1 minute overdue and I apologize for it, but it was because whilst I was eating my dinner, which I regularly do before the stream, it came out that Albert Sambi Lokonga is seemingly going to leave the club. So that's not even in the thumbnail of this video. Such is the recency of this news. We are breaking news here. Chris Wheatley. This is coming from Chris Wheatley. Sambi Lokonga has spoken himself. He said, "For me, I had a discussion with Arsenal and the conclusion was the best thing for me is to leave the club. So now it's up to my agent and the club to find something. I still have a contract there, 1 year plus a 1 year option. So let's see what happens." So there you go. The finger is on the pulse of the Arsenal news today. And it seems like Sambi Lokonga is going. Anyway, I haven't even said hello to people. So we will get into that afterwards. But there are, of course, loads of you here, which we absolutely love to see. Junior Films, King Kai, Ballsy, Sportcat, Jakob. Sportcat, how are you feeling, by the way? Pekka, George Christodoulou, Emilio, Icarus, Mr. Nimbus, VV Vlad, Ethan Udall, Hyper Protagonist, Jakob, Amar, Tentego, Hannah, Smithy, Ollie Hughes, Max, Churms, GGF, and many, many more that are coming in. Willsy's in here as well. Any idea where he's going? Absolutely no idea. Literally, the news is what I have just told you. Sambi is likely to leave. He's had a discussion with the club where the conclusion was that it's best for him to leave the club. So now it is up to him, his agent, and the club to find something that works for him. So, look, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to a promoted team. I could see a Leicester, an Ipswich. I could see potentially I don't know, lower league, Palace maybe. No, he went on loan to Palace, and I don't think they appreciated it. Plus, they got Wharton. Yeah, interesting. Maybe he doesn't stay in the Premier League. Will we get much money for him? Probably not. Because he's not getting on, but he's not like young anymore. He's 24, I think. So, and realistically, you know, he had a decent loan spell at Luton. Didn't have a great loan spell the season before. We'll see. I already told you, Lokonga stinks. That's harsh. Leicester, Brighton, or Lyon. You meant he stinks of going to Leicester, Brighton, or Lyon, right? Not that he stinks and will go to Leicester, Brighton, or Lyon. Gareth, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. In my opinion, as a Chelsea fan, the decision to sack Poch is neither wrong nor right at this moment. The most important thing is if the new manager does better or worse. I mean, I suppose that is true, but you could say that of any manager sacking at any time, right? Like, if Arsenal sacked Arteta now, it would be a horrific mistake. But technically, you wouldn't know if it was right or wrong until the new one came in. I think it was wrong to sack Poch. Mainly because the club finally had a bit of stability. The players finally had a bit of stability. And you've seen a lot of those Chelsea players have come out on social media and don't seem particularly happy about it. But we'll see. What's the full list of players we want to sell? Tavares, yes. Tierney, yes. Partey, probably. Eddie, yes. Nelson, yes. Vieira, probably. Vieira or Smith Rowe for me. Ramsdale. Sambi Lokonga. Charlie Patino. I think that's it. And I still think we're going to lose one of Tomiyasu and Kivior. Or Zinchenko. We're going to lose one of the left backs. And that brings me into another bit of news. The news coming out this morning, and this has come from a Turkish outlet. So I would take it with a pinch of salt, kind of. But they have said it's called a Sober Spore, I think they're called. Well, there's two of them basically. A Turkish outlet called Milliyet, and then that was reported by a bigger media company called Sober Spore. But they said Arsenal have had a 20 million euro bid rejected by Fenerbahce for 24-year-old Ferdi Kadioglu. According to Turkish media outlet Milliyet, the Gunners are expected to return with an improved offer of 20 million plus 5 million in potential bonuses, totaling an amount of 25 million pounds. So that's interesting. Turkish better than Spanish or Italian? I mean, it's one of those because on one hand, people will go, well, it's a Turkish outlet reporting on a Turkish player at a Turkish club, so they'll be correct. But I've seen it with Italy, where quite often the Italian media does the bidding of the Italian clubs. And so I don't know if it's the same over in Turkey. So look, obviously I'll wait until someone, reputable over here talks about it. But one thing I would say is that there's no smoke without fire. So it may not be that a bid has gone in, but for them to be running a story this confidently about a bid going in, it tells me that there is something in the story at the very least. And obviously we've spoken about Kadioglu on a previous stream. And for me, if we're bringing it now, look, he's very versatile, right? In fact, listen to this. Kadioglu, in his senior career, has played 65 games at left back. He's played 56 games as an attacking midfielder. He's played 44 games as a right winger. He's played 37 games as a right back. He's played 23 games as a left winger, 19 games as a left midfielder, 19 games as a right midfielder, 15 games as a central midfielder, and 1 game as a striker. Hyper Protagonist has gifted 5 memberships to the channel. Hyper is an absolute legend. Not just on YouTube. He's also been supporting the Twitch channel as well. I'm incredibly grateful, Hyper. Incredibly grateful for that. If you've just been gifted a membership by Hyper, please do thank him in the chat. He is a goat. Is Kadioglu good on the ball like Zinni? If he is, then Zinni's definitely on the chopping block. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll get a bit into the stats. We will get a bit into the stats of Kadioglu. But I do find that incredible, the versatility of him. And we know Mikel Arteta bloody loves a bit of versatility. So in this player, I mean, you really have got a player who can play seemingly anywhere other than centre-back. I've seen some people say that he's like Zinchenko, but with pace. And looking at his stats, I can kind of see it. But we will dig into them. Yeah, absolutely. Big up to Hyper Protagonist. Kadioglu is the reason EAFC introduced alternate positions. Yeah, I think on FIFA he's got a team of the season that has got a bunch of alternate positions. How can we afford him and Raya before June 30th with FFP? Well, it's one of those. You can agree the deal with Fenerbahce and then just say that it will go through on the 1st of July if you need to. Bayer Leverkusen apparently are also very interested in him. And last summer, Newcastle and Inter Milan were very interested in him. Newcastle ended up with Lewis Hall, so they probably won't go back in. But Tomiyasu's versatility can't be ignored. But then again, Kivior was absolutely fantastic when he stepped into left back this season. Apart from Bayern, Tommy is quite injury prone too. Yeah, it's an interesting one to figure out who's going to leave because there's just no way there is room in the squad for Timber, Kivior, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, and if we were to get him, Kadioglu. But even if we don't get Kadioglu, the suggestion is that we're going for that style of player. There's just not that room for that many players that, I look at it and I think Zinchenko's the only one of them that really can only play one position. And actually, he can't only play one position because he can play in midfield, but Arteta clearly doesn't want him to play in midfield, which basically means Zinchenko's only role for us is as an inverted left back. And if that's not what we want, then I don't, I could see us moving Zinchenko on. It is the reality. I could see us moving Zinchenko on. We'll have a look at we'll have a look at Kadioglu's stats again. We did it on a previous stream, but just for those people that didn't see it or that have forgotten. By the way, that Desiree Doué that we spoke about last night, I ended up watching a compilation of him today. Very good player. Again, compilations only tell you so much because they just show you the best bits. But for an 18-year-old, his career isn't that long, and the highlight reel was pretty long. So Fair play to him. But yeah, look, Kadioglu, 24 years old, 5'8". He's right-footed. He is right-footed, by the way. So yeah, has predominantly played at left back this season, but as a right-footed player. This I like. You know I like this. Lots of touches, lots of chance creation. Aerial duels 1, not good. Defensive actions, not good. That's the Zinchenko section, right? That's the Zinchenko section. Ian, welcome. Good to see you. Kazan has joined as well. Good to see you. If you can, just whilst we're going through this, click a like on the old video. I'd be greatly appreciative. In the Super League this season, he started 36 games out of the 37 that they've had. So again, if you're comparing that to, for example, Tomiyasu, 36 out of 37 games is pretty good in terms of availability. Player stats not available. Brilliant. Cheers for that. Here we go. Player stats. So, if we go per 90, shooting-wise, not overly important, but green really just suggests that he attacks quite a lot. In terms of passing, ranks really highly for the number of successful passes he pulls off with a high pass accuracy as well, nearly 85%. That is solid. Averages basically 0.2 expected assists per game. So you'd be looking at an assist every 5 games. What's that? Five assists over the course of the season. If you played it out, that's not too bad. Really good long ball accuracy as well. So on the ball, his passing, his range of passing, very good. As Gareth says, we bloody love a bit of greenery, and there is a lot of greenery. In possession, successful dribbles. This is really high compared to any of the fullbacks that we have, maybe barring Yuri and Timber, which we'll have to wait and see. Averaging 1.5 successful dribbles per game is very good. Takes a ton of touches, very important for us. We know we're going to have a lot of the ball, has to be comfortable on the ball, and he is. Gets dispossessed a reasonable amount, but again, if you're trying to take players on quite a lot, you're going to get dispossessed quite a lot. It's not the end of the world. And wins a fair few fouls. And then in a defending sense, and this is where you start going, okay, it's Zinchenko. Aerial duels 1, that's actually significantly worse than Zinchenko. Interceptions, very few interceptions compared to most left backs. The one thing I would say about that, though, is that that's raw data, right? These are the raw numbers. So percentages, these are important numbers. So he wins actually most of the tackles that he goes for. He wins 60% of his duels, even wins 50% of his aerial duels. The raw numbers, for example, interceptions, look, if you're a team like Fenerbahce that does pretty well, you're not going to make many of those as a defender. Any sort of defensive action, you're not going to have to make as much if you're a defender for a team that plays well. Gets dribble past, a reasonable amount. So that's not ideal. That's probably the worst one of all of those stats because he's not going to have to do that much defending, and he still gets dribble past quite a lot relative to other defenders in the league. And that's it. So, I've not seen I really have not seen very little at all of him actually playing. So I'm basing it a lot off the greenery. But to me, that would suggest replacing Zinchenko. That would suggest replacing Zinchenko if you want my opinion on it. But we'll see. Are we still looking at Victor Gyökeres? I think so. Hato sounds miles better. 2 different players, in my opinion. In my opinion, they'd be 2 different signings. I don't think you'd be looking at either Hato or a Kadioglu, because Hato really is a centre-back / full-back, more of a Timber. Look, I could see a world in which we're playing with Timber at right back and Hato at left back, to be honest. But they're 2 different signings, I think. So Kadioglu's more of an attacking sort of. I mean, he can play everywhere. Other than centre back, seemingly he's never played the centre. I mean, he's 5'8". He's 5'8". So bros like Zinchenko on max chemistry. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see him play, but yeah. So there you go. Look, if you take the Turkish media at their word, we've made a bid for him. I'd be surprised if we've already made a bid for him, but I would expect that there are negotiations of some sort ongoing for them to make that claim. If Balde is actually for sale, that would be a good signing. Yeah, it's interesting with Barcelona. We keep hearing that Barcelona need to sell players and get players off their books and stuff, but How quick is he? His base card has 86 pace on FIFA, if that helps you. His team of the season's got 93 pace. So I'll tell you one thing for free. He's quicker than Zinchenko. As are most of us. I think if I get up to full steam, it does take me about 4 hours to get up to full steam. But once I get up to full steam, I reckon I'm quicker than Zinchenko. So Balde would probably be a starter. So I don't know. For us or for Barca. Well, I thought they were going to lose. I thought they were going to lose Lewandowski, but then he came out today and said he's going nowhere. So there's the EAFC streams coming through. Yeah, we've got the knowledge. A few of you have been asking about it. I've been reeling you in, waiting to give you the name of the Ramsdale replacement. The Ramsdale replacement. This is the other bit of news today. It's coming from John Cross in the Mirror. Arsenal are in the market for Feyenoord keeper Justin Bijlow. They will decide whether to press ahead with him in the next few days. Bijlow could be available for around 10 million, as he has 2 years left on his contract and has had a couple of injury setbacks. Imagine not following on the Twitch, by the way. Get over there. Yeah, look, if you want to come and join the Twitch streams later in the evening, very, very fun, relaxed settings. The link to Twitch is down in the description below. I would love to see more of you over there. But yeah, so Justin Bijlow, 26 years old. In fact, we'll just bring him up. Why not? Justin Bijlow. By the way, if there's anyone Dutch, that thinks I'm pronouncing this wrong, then please do just let me know. I think that's Bijlow, right? Bijlow. Anyway, 26 years old, whatever that is in height. Apparently around £10 million. Sweeper keeper, baby. Do you know what? If you think about what David Raya is, think about the 3 things that David Raya has added to, or if you had to say what are the 3 things, Bijlow. Oh, it's Bijlow. I apologize. Justin Bijlow. If you were to think about the 3 things that David Raya really thrives in, distribution, sweeping, high claims. So it's no shock to see that these are the 3 things that stand out on Bijlow's stat map. So, in fact, actually, out of pure interest, let's compare that to David Raya. Let's actually compare that to David Raya. Okay, David Raya's long ball accuracy is absolutely abysmal, according to this. But the other 2, sweeper and high claims, obviously, look, David Raya keeps a lot of clean sheets and concedes not many goals because of the defense that he's got. I can't believe his long ball accuracy is that bad. I guess that's just because he doesn't ever have anyone to go to until we've played Kai Havertz, but interesting. Anyway, so outside of that, if anything, Bijlow's better. Bijlow's better than him at long ball distribution. That stat must just be because of the fact that he doesn't have anyone to go long to, because that is balmy. But yeah, these two are what Raya thrives in. So you can understand why we're looking at him. This season in Eredivisie, he's played 17 games, kept 6 clean sheets. And obviously, I mean, if we came down to the player stats, I wouldn't really know much about it to tell you anyway. But that's an option. 10 million quid. Has had some injury problems, but if he's your second choice keeper, it's probably not so worrying. Now check Ramsdale. Ramsdale's will be a bit odd for the year because he's obviously not played much. But see, Ramsdale's long ball accuracy is up at 93%, but then he doesn't sweep and his high claims are terrible. And this is what's so interesting, right? So there you go. Bijlow's actually the same height as Aaron Ramsdale. But isn't that interesting? And he's in the top 99. He's in the top 1% for save percentages. It is interesting. There you go. But yeah, so that's the goalkeeper that is potentially going to come in and replace Aaron Ramsdale. I think that the key thing that, yeah, his high claim's terrible, which is one of the biggest things that Raya has kind of thrived with. And in terms of the way that we defend, the main way we defend is completely locking down central access to the box and pushing teams out wide and making them cross it. So if you're doing that, you want someone that thrives under high crosses. It's unfortunate for Ramsdale, to be honest. Like, fundamentally, that is why it's been unfortunate for Ramsdale. Where's Ramsdale going to go? We don't know. I still think Newcastle is the one that makes the most sense. I saw Nick Pope was back for them today in their friendly against Spurs. He looked awful. It looked absolutely awful. There's 240 of you here, by the way. Absolutely sensational. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. And if you haven't hit the like button, please do hit the like button. We're here every night. And do you know what? I was thinking, like, oh, maybe over the summer there's not a lot of news. Maybe we won't go live every night. Bollocks. We're going live every night. All summer. I need Arsenal to make a statement signing before Euro 2024. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult because we are, even if things are agreed behind closed doors before Euro 2024, we can't necessarily pull the trigger before the 30th of June. We're still tied by FFP until the 30th of June. That's when the 3-year rolling thing. It's always set to June 30th. After June 30th, then we'll be able to spend our money. So the chances of actually getting an announcement of a signed player before then, which is obviously during the middle of the Euros, is unlikely in my opinion. But we'll see. Thoughts on that friendly in Australia? Seems mad that both teams went full strength 3 days after the end of the season. I disagree with it. I disagree with the whole thing. Look, I made a TikTok about it, and I got some comments, right, from people that live in Australia or live around the world, and they said, well, we want to see the players. Like, we want to get to see the players. This is massive for us to go and see them. We don't care that it's a friendly. We just want to see our team. And I get that. I 100% get that. But when it's coming at the detriment of football in England, that's when I have a problem. So when, for example, FA Cup replays are being scrapped, which massively harms lower and non-league clubs, because the big teams are all saying that there's too many fixtures, but then 3 days after the end of the season, they're going and playing both of their full-strength sides in Australia. I have a bit of a problem with that. Now, apparently, it was actually part of... They were contractually obliged to play full strength. I think it ended 1-1. Isak scored and... Can't remember who scored for Spurs. But the issue I have with it is that it's just... I mean... The other issue I have, right, is that at one point this season, we had that bloody green weekend where everyone was told that we needed to get public transport to get to the games. Meanwhile, they're two of the Premier League teams 3 days after the end of the season are flying off to Australia just to do a friendly and then fly back. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. And look, it's one of those where I sympathise with fans that live abroad. You know, I massively defend fans that live abroad when people say they're not proper fans. I will always defend overseas fans, and I absolutely love it when overseas fans make it to the Emirates. But there is a level where I'm like, if you are living on the other side of the world, you know what you're getting into when you decide to support an English team. When you decide to support an English team and you live in Australia, there's got to be an understanding that you might not get to see the team play live. That's just how I feel. Is Trippier's injury bad? Yeah, Trippier went off after 36 minutes. Some people are saying that was just a planned sub, and that the only reason he started was because they were contractually obliged to play their starting 11. Not sure, but it's not ideal. All statement signings would also be locked behind the national camps that the clubs aren't getting access to, reportedly. Yes, that is also true. There's been a lot going on in Germany in terms of the hotels and stuff that the players are staying at, where journalists aren't going to be allowed to be there. They're not going to be able to sniff around. They've got these anti-spy hotels. So I don't think really any sort of transfer news is going to break during the Euros, unless it's for players that aren't at the Euros or Copa America. Are Sweden in the Euros? No, they're not. They missed out. Still on the Gyökeres train. But if Isak joins, I'll switch at the next station. Look, if Isak joins... I'm not going to hold some sort of vendetta against Isak because I wanted Gyökeres. I'll be well behind him. And I'd be very happy with that signing. I'd just be very sad if Gyökeres went to another Premier League club and tore it up. But We'll see. Will you be live streaming Euro 2024 games on here? I'll be live streaming watch-alongs of Euro 2024 games on Tifo. The link to Tifo is down below. That is the home of football watch-alongs for me. It's the future of football watch-alongs for streaming. So that'll be on Tifo, completely free, and some big things coming this summer over on Tifo as well. So I'm actually excited for it. I won't be doing the first England game, though. The first England game falls on Father's Day. So I will be spending the day with my father and not streaming it. But Adam, no worries. Good to see you, as always. Twitch stream tonight. There will be a Twitch stream tonight. Absolutely. We finished The Last of Us last night. So tonight, you need to get into the Twitch chat, and we're going to figure out what game I'm going to play next over on Twitch. So again, link to that in the description. Sportcat says, Rory, who do you think is going to be the next Chelsea manager? I hate how we're going for a young manager. Makes no sense. I finished my birthday dinner last night and found out and was just so angry. I can imagine. It's an interesting one. I do think it's an interesting one. Because effectively you're going, okay, so we want a young, inexperienced manager to come in and manage a young, inexperienced team, and they're not going to have any of their own signings, and they're going to say yes to whatever the owners want. I don't know. Skyrim? It probably won't be Skyrim, only based on the fact that Skyrim is one of the only games that's not like FIFA or COD or whatever that I've actually rinsed before in my life. I went through a right Skyrim period. All thanks to bloody Tom Syndicate. All thanks to Syndicate. Way, way back in the day. We're going to play other games before Last of Us 2. Yeah, we're not going to jump straight into The Last of Us 2. We're going to play a game first. Anyway. Don't need to talk about that right now. All the players were devastated that Poch went, especially Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Road 96 could be the one. Gareth is keen on Road 96. But yeah, so one thing that I would say the news today has suggested is definitely that Ramsdale's going. There would be no reason for us to be interested in Bilo if he wasn't. 10 million for Bilo. That's seemingly going to be the region that we're looking at. But if it's not Bilo, I assume that a similar figure. So then you're looking, okay, if all we have to do this summer is put 10 million aside for the keeper, that's not too bad. Fallout Grounded, Generation Zero. I've only heard of Fallout, to be fair. Syndicate was the first YouTuber I watched. What an OG legend. Yeah, he's still going, you know. He still does his daily vlogs and stuff. I don't watch much anymore, but he is one of the OGs. It's come out that Benjamin Sesko will decide where he wants to go / stay at RB Leipzig before the Euros. Interesting. The thing that I'm interested with that, though, right? Okay, so Sesko's going to decide where he wants to go, but then what? Because are the clubs going to be able to pull it off before the Euros? I don't know. Can we see the lineups for tonight? Yeah, it's Atalanta against Leverkusen tonight in the Europa League final. I'll give it a minute before heading over to FOTMob to show the starting lineups. I can't play grounded. My arachnophobia is too strong. Oh, has it got spiders? Nice. We came sixth with the worst injury crisis in the league and the youngest squad. Yeah, exactly. Apparently Chelsea's owners want Champions League football, and it's like, yeah, okay, but unless there's someone out there that you think is definitely going to get Chelsea Champions League football next season, then why not just stick with Poch? And I think Poch could have got Champions League football next season anyway. But then apparently they'd had quite a big falling out because they want to sell players like Gallagher and Chalobah, and Pochettino doesn't want to sell those players. And the owners are like, well, we can give a fuck what you want. So it's a bit of a mess. $5.99 super chat from Isaki. Thank you very, very much. That's incredibly generous. It says, good to hear your support for the foreign supporters. Who do you think is going to win today, Leverkusen or Atalanta? We've got to go for Leverkusen. We've got to go for Leverkusen, I think. I mean, I'd just still love to see them do the invincible treble. It'd be mental. I'm now a gambler thanks to being sent to Decampion last night. God knows what he was doing. God knows what that boy was doing. Yeah, we're friends. We're friends in real. Well, we're friends through content creation, but in real life. And that boy is off his absolute nut. He's been live for over 100 days without stopping. Absolutely off his nut. I like our transfer list. I do think all those players need to move on. Yeah, lots of sales. Sales can happen before the Euros, though. Sales can happen before the Euros. So, yeah, and to be fair, if we can get those sales done before the Euros, then we can kind of set up the pot that we need, and understand exactly what that pot's going to be. Bordsy said Arsenal estimated to have earned 175 million this season from the Premier League and also secured 91 million in prize money for reaching the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Grounded as a sandbox game with a story. You're in a garden and you're a kid who shrunk. Interesting. You spent $4,000 in less than 10 minutes. I'm telling you, mental. How could someone stream for over 100 days? Because he just leaves it on when he sleeps. He just keeps streaming when he sleeps. He's off his nut. Did you see Leverkusen mugged us off on Twitter, posting Xhaka with the trophy minutes after we lost the title? Yeah, that's just a social media person doing their job, to be fair, because the tweet went viral. So it's one of those ones. If we could sell Partey, Patino, and Lokonga before the start of the Euros, that would be ideal and help with FFP. It would. By the way, if we are selling Sambi and we're selling Partey, I think we need to buy 2 midfielders. Unless Ethan Nwaneri is really going to come through. I don't think we can be left with effectively Rice, Jorginho, and one more midfielder. Call it João Neves. In the entire club. Because you've got to bear in mind, even this year, even though we've not needed to use him, we've still had like El Neni as an absolute backup. But he won't be here either. My ideal signings: Hato, Bruno Guimaraes, Rashford, and Gyökeres. I'm not aboard the Rashford thing. I know some people want Rashford. They think that Arteta can save him. Not for me. I think there's a point where you push your luck. You push your luck a bit too much on saving a player. And Rashford, don't get me wrong, maybe people can still get a tune out of him, but not for me. Anyway, let's quickly check the Atalanta versus Leverkusen lineups. So, Atalanta, Musso, Jamitsi. How do you pronounce that? Jim City, isn't it? Yeah. Hein. Go on, Sayad. Are we supporting? Who are we supporting? Kolasinac or Xhaka? No, I'm supporting Xhaka. Zappa, Costa, Edison, Coop Miners, Ruggeri, Lookman, De Kellaere, and Scamacca. And then Kovar, Stanisic, Tar, Tapsoba, Frimpong, Palacios, Xhaka, and Hincapi, Grimaldo, Wirtz, and Adley. Interesting that's like... Is that how they've been playing recently, with Grimaldo as basically the cam rather than the left wing back? Or is that because of injury? Not sure. Anyway, there you go. There's the teams. So 300 people in the stream. Unbelievable. I think we've just dropped down from that because I was showing the teams. But no, I appreciate it. Grimaldo up front. Grimaldo scored a lot of goals this season. What Bayer Leverkusen players would you take? Wirtz, Frimpong, Granit Xhaka. That'd be it, pretty much, to be fair. That's the thing. Like, I'm not convinced that like all of their players are unreal individually. I just think they've come together perfectly. Will we profit on Rambo? We should profit on Rambo. Not profiting on Rambo would be a disgrace. He had a bit of an outburst on Twitch and never came back. Oh, it's gaming. I actually saw him in a different stream the other day, and he was hating on me. So he's clearly decided to take a different path. How many hours till the Twitch stream? Planning to catch this one. So the Twitch streams go live between 10 and 10:30. On a night like tonight, where I've got to make content after the Europa League final, probably closer to 10:30. So about 3 hours from now. Basically, most nights, about 3 hours after this stream ends, I go live on Twitch. Ramsdale was 28 mil. We can get 40. I don't think we get 40. I think we get about 30. Team Using Tick said Arteta wants more of a rapid winger than a ball-to-feet winger. Good. We need a pacey winger. We do need another pacey winger. 100%. We've hit 100 likes. 100 likes. 100 likes. And if you're one of the people that hasn't hit the like button, just know that you're getting carried by the people that have hit the like button. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community, and we are starting now. Clue number 1, this player is 40 years old. Clue number 1, this player is 40 years old. Clue number 2, they joined Arsenal from KSK Beveren, the Belgian team. They joined Arsenal from KSK Beveren. Clue number 3, they scored 10 goals and got 20 assists in 210 games for Arsenal. They scored 10 goals and got 20 assists in 210 games for Arsenal. Clue number 4, they twice won the Turkish Super League with Galatasaray. They twice won the Turkish Super League with Galatasaray. And clue number 5, they once famously pretended to listen to the North Korean coach during a game between Ivory Coast and North Korea at the 2010 World Cup. They once famously pretended to listen to the North Korean coach during a match between North Korea and Ivory Coast at the 2010 World Cup. Plenty of you have got it. Now I've got to try and avoid a VAR check. Try and avoid a VAR check. Right. I've gone all the way to the top just to make sure I didn't miss any. And we're on our way back down. And the winner is, once again, it's VV Vlad. It's the GOAT of Guess the Gooner. It's Emmanuel Eboue. And VV Vlad got it first. Ross Lawman was second. I mean, there you go. It's the 1-2. It's the VV Vlad Ross Lawman 1-2. Like Verstappen and Hamilton back in the day. Sportcat was third. Impressive, given he's a Chelsea fan. Social Joins was fourth. And CM, with some interesting spelling, was fifth. So there you go. Congratulations to VV Vlad. Congratulations. VAR has been checked. And the goal is given. Need to test VV Vlad for steroids? Yeah. He's on the PEDs. Who is Eboue? Emmanuel Eboue. What do you mean, who is Eboue? He's one of the best right backs we've ever seen at the club. Nah, I wouldn't go that far, but he's a boy. He's a boy. My autocorrect went crazy for some reason. No, it's all good. It's all good. Congratulations, Vlad, though. Congratulations, Vlad. And now it is time for Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm going to give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal. You have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community, but not as much respect as VV Vlad currently has. This player started their career at Lille. Over in Le France. They moved to Aston Villa. So they moved from Lille to Aston Villa. They then moved to Everton. They then moved to Paris Saint-Germain. They then moved to PSG. And then they moved back to Everton. All of those were permanent moves. So Lille, Aston Villa, Everton, PSG, Everton. Who is the player? Lots of you started going Eden Hazard. Lots of you were fancying Eden Hazard. But who got it first? The winner is... It's the king of Guess the Non-Gooner. It's Sportcat again, and it is Idrissa Gana Gay. Ha! Gay! But Sportcat got it first. Unbelievable. Unbelievable from Sportcat. Second was Oscar. Third was Dan Waite. Fourth was Adam Roble. And fifth was Devin, with Alex Suter and Ethan Udall very close in 6th and 7th. So there you go. Idrissa Gana Gay. Well played to Sportcat. Well played to Sportcat. Is it because he scored against you? Maybe that was why it was in my mind. Do you know what? Today was one of those ones. I couldn't tell you why I thought about Idrissa Gana Gay, but I did. I can't believe I accidentally fell asleep for Guess the Gooner. Painful, Leo. Painful. Painful. Such a lovely sounding name. It is a good name. It is a good name. Still trying for a top 5 finish. You'll get there. You'll get there, King Kai. My internet sucks. My internet is the slowest ever. Look at all these people blaming their internet. Look at all these people blaming. Everyone's got rubbish internet. Everyone's blaming the internet. Can we get Arne Slot? Arne Slot. La 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 la. It's bad though because he is the Liverpool manager now. He is the Liverpool manager. I don't like the fact that I'm walking around the house just every 10 minutes. Arne Slot. La 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 la. Ian has given $5 Canadian. Always a pleasure. Great show. Ian, thank you very much. I am greatly appreciative for the $5 Canadian. Incredibly generous. And thank you very much for the kind message as well. Is Lokonga gone? Seemingly, yeah. He did an interview with the BBC where he said, for me, I had a discussion with Arsenal, and the conclusion was that the best thing is for me to leave the club. So now it's up to my agent and the club to find something. So there you go. Got to do the Arne Slot, but replace it with Ian Walsh. Ian Walsh. La 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 la. To be fair, it doesn't go too badly. It doesn't go too badly. Let's hope the coach with the best hair wins next season. We've got Super Mick Arteta. Arteta's going to start going grey, and that's going to be painful, you know. He is going to start going grey. Look, anyway, that is going to be the end of the stream. I do massively appreciate all of you that have joined. Like I said, in about 3 hours' time, I will be live on Twitch for some more gaming. Link to that's in the description. But if you're not over there, I'll be back on here tomorrow, as always, at 6:30. Have a fantastic evening. Hopefully Bayer Leverkusen win and Granit Xhaka's got a smile on his face. But until then, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.